My name is Garland Goins, of course. I'm in Durham, North Carolina, and currently am the Vice President for the Revenue Cycle Management for Avance Care or Avance Health System, formerly with Duke Health. Avance Care was designed to aid independent physician practices in remaining independent, meaning many providers work into this industry or in this space so that they can provide quality care to their patients. Unfortunately, within our system, the dynamics of administrative burden is just so taxing and not necessarily taught in medical schools, whereby physicians who want to own their own practice find it difficult, challenging, frustrating, and exhausting to really get the upper hand and the quality of life balance that they were looking for. Avance Care takes that to the next level. We partner with the physicians as well as the insurance companies to maximize their reimbursement potential while supporting them to meet the evolving experience of the patient and their needs. And so from a revenue cycle standpoint, we look at not only patient communications, patient access, but also how the provider is documenting from a compliance, charge capture standpoint, and ensuring that it adheres to any and all of our governmental as well as commercial payer rules. Lastly, on the back end, we want to make sure the adjudication or the processing of the claims are optimized so that the patient is paying the least or the required amount out of pocket, and there isn't a back and forth kind of consternation with the insurance company and the patient. So engaging in every aspect of not only the front end, the clinical, but also the patient financial services, we believe that revenue cycle, along with Avance Care, can help and has helped our independent physician practices remain independent.
And what a better time to be in this space of improving efficiencies and outcomes with revenue cycle. There's a lot of noise. Now you got AI and you got all kinds of new technologies and efficiencies, regulations. It never stops. Correct. So as you look at the day-to-day problems that you're engaged with, maybe if you could give us a little bit of insight onto where Connex has been able to come alongside of you and help in some of the problem solving relative to your peers. And we can talk about certainly solutions to those problems in a little bit, but let's just start with the peers, right? Because when you're a senior executive, where do you go to solve these problems? And in healthcare right now, time is of the most, it's of the essence, right? So as you look at the problem solving with those peers, what is that engagement been like with Connex that's given you insights or helped with outcomes?
No, amazing question, and definitely one where I'm finding or have found considerable value in engaging with like-minded peers across the nation. And that is one, or there are many components in which I enjoy Connex and just the overall engagement, whether it be physically here, engaging personal one-on-one, interacting within think tanks with my peers around, to your point, prior authorization, denials management, how to handle and manage payers, things of that nature, but also some of the other forms that we embraced during the pandemic. So the virtual spaces where we continuously talk about some of our pain points and how to overcome them through those social platforms. So it has been tremendously rewarding for me and really enjoyable to see that mature over time, as I believe this may be my 5th or 6th year within the Connex program. And the evolution has been great. We've been able to add many members, have seen members come and go, but also grow within the Connex family as well. Often stay in touch with some of those key members or peers rather, that have some of the same, again, pain points, and see if we can overcome those, particularly those that are geographically within our space. So my South Carolina mates, as well as Virginia and Tennessee. But that does not exclude some of the forward-thinking, progressive things that are California, Colorado, and so forth. Those peers are offering as well. So I value the perspective. It's really empowered me to read considerably more and partner with many local legislative and legislative bodies to help really push forward a more reasonable form of healthcare for North Carolinians.
Yeah. So as you look at those peer conversations, what you're essentially always trying to do is problem solve.
Correct.
Right. So, and it never ends. Healthcare certainly prior to COVID was a very challenging place to be. And then COVID just changed the game. And now post-COVID, it's trying to figure out what healthcare looks like, because as you're talking about, you're dealing in the revenue cycle.
Right.
And where's the money coming from when you look at 52% of the hospitals being underwater?
Correct.
So, talking about the assistance that Connex has given you relative to finding some of those solutions, and maybe if there's a case study or a story that's helped you along the way and that you've engaged with that's given you positive outcomes.
Sure. No, so you're correct. I believe the approach that Connex takes, it makes the methodical approach that Connex takes makes it that much more, I would have to say, engaging and impactful and meaningful. Meaning you take considerable amount of time on the front end to understand what it is I am seeking or what it is I'm experiencing from a frustration standpoint that I cannot seem to overcome, whether it be registration denials or coding, in-house coding or outsource coding, or even just routine accounts receivable follow-up. Those are the basics, but to your point, in this environment, the labor shortage, the lack of some of the skill sets and experience have just exacerbated our inability, if you will, to really get through the day-to-day. And so having Connex reach out and understand that, and then begin to have very meaningful conversations on how best we can support and resolve that. And then prior to the arrival, providing great literature and making sure that we are well informed about the organization and what to expect from them. But in parallel to that, even in some of the joint sessions, begin speaking with many of the network partners here and talk about employee engagement and patient engagement, pain points that I never really expressed at the forethought or the forefront with Connex. Having those individuals here and just having a very open, transparent conversation with them, I've been able to bond and create some wonderful relationships and follow-ups that we anticipate deploying within our organization, since it's very people-oriented, right? And so really engaging those people that will help us with employee engagement and understanding, getting back to the foundational of trust, respect, and communication, and how we leverage that to do our day-to-day has been really rewarding and impactful as well. And so aside from the revenue cycle kind of continuum, we're looking at, how do we outfit the personnel, and Connex has been able to provide that as well. So kudos to you guys for, I think, methodically doing that. But nevertheless, I have been able to implement some great coding opportunities through Connex, and through a former employer, we were able to do some additional auditing within our clinical documentation improvement, as well as our inpatient coding with Fair Code. So wonderful experience, quite engaging, brought in a good 20-30% kind of impact, if you will, to our bottom line from a MSDRG perspective. And so, again, from that relationship, have been able to leverage that through my new and existing company, and kind of taking those partnerships and seeing how best we can implement or deploy some of their solutions there. But it's always been a mutually kind of winning situation, if you will.
Is there any last statements, anything we didn't cover that you think you'd like to share? Or?
No, I think it's been very comprehensive. Again, rewarding experience, would highly recommend it for any and all individuals within this space, irregardless of kind of position, type, and title, because there's always opportunity for greater network in IT, human resources, and so forth. And because we function in that support area, we definitely have to collaborate more than the others. And so I would always find it advantageous to look at some of those cross-departmental or cross-sectional areas on how they deal with some of the revenue cycle impacts and where we can find some, economies of scale and learn from one another.
Thank you so much, Garland.
Thank you.
Really, really appreciate it.
Always.